Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar this afternoon. Today we're talking about achieving business security with ISO 27001 certification. So welcome to all of you who have joined us. I can see a number of you joining us this afternoon, so that is great, and thanks for taking valuable time out your day to be with us. My name is Flora. I've maybe spoken to you in the past if you've joined any of our webinars. I do them across the group, or maybe even at a live event. So, nice to meet you. And today we're lucky to have Linda with us as well. So I'll just let you introduce yourself, Linda.
Hi, my name's Linda. I'm one of the ISO field consultants and auditors. I've been with Citation now for around 3.5 years. And before that, my background was GDPR compliance. So this is quite a natural fit.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us today, Linda. Okay, just quickly, I know some of you are familiar with ourselves, but I know there's also people on here that are not. So just a wee bit more about us. We've been in the business over 30 years. We have over 60 consultants nationwide, and we have over 30,000 management systems implemented. This is about giving you complete support. So everything you need to achieve and maintain to achieve your ISO and to maintain that ISO certification. So the support is there throughout all of that. So it gives you everything you need, and it is very much tailored to your business. So it's that tailored management system around and about your needs and your business needs. So and it's key to getting it right is the key thing. It's about ISO standards play a pivotal role in enhancing efficiency, quality and safety, and there's many other benefits which we're going to talk about today as well, and Linda's going to talk to you about. So yeah, let's get started. Just to be aware as well, we are part of the Citation brand family. So not only are we Citation ISO certification, we've got Cyber, we've got UCheck, we've got Citation, Food Alert. So you might have come across us, or may be in clients of other parts of our family as well. So and it may be something you need in the future as well. Okay, about today then, so we're going to look at the cyber threat landscape of 2025. What does that look like? Cybersecurity fundamentals for your business, an introduction to ISO 27001 and Cyber Essentials, and looking at the benefits of cybersecurity certification and some top tips with becoming certified as well. So quite a lot of ground we're going to cover in the next hour. But before we get started, I just want to ask you a quick question. So how confident are you in your current information security measures and your understanding of ISO 27001? So you just click on either A, B or C. So A being very confident, B being somewhat confident, and C not confident at all. So if you just click on one of those, that'd be fantastic. And there's no test, there's no judgment, there's no assessment here or anything like that. It's really just for us to have an understanding, because we don't want to go into details that you maybe don't need, but equally if you're just starting out in this journey thinking about it, then we'll make sure you've got the right information is the absolute key thing. So it's really just for us to get a feel for where you are at as our audience today. Okay, so 9.7% are very confident, 51.6% somewhat, and 38.7% not confident at all. So that is great. That's fine. We know where we are, and we'll maybe shift some of you over the next hour as well. So, but it's good just to have a clear understanding of where you are at, guys. Okay, so I'm going to hand you over now to Linda, and she is going to take you through talking about ISO 27001. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks. The reason cybersecurity is so valid at the moment is the world has changed, and it's changed very quickly. If you think back 5 years pre-COVID, working from home was unusual. Now it's the norm, it's expected, it's built into contracts. That means previously where a business had maybe one premises and one group of people they could monitor, now you've got employees who could be working anywhere, accessing your data on any kind of device. Also, the reliance on digital systems is grown exponentially. Banking, shopping, communications, everything, healthcare, there's all a reliance on digital systems. That makes it quite lucrative for hackers to try and target them. And also, thanks to the World Wide Web, everything's global. A breach in one corner of the globe can be transferred across the world in minutes before we even know about it. It used to be where off-the-shelf firewall software and antivirus that you'd install was enough, and now it's not. People have changed, times have changed. It's a human issue as well as a tech issue. So we look more rather than at the people as well as the systems, just to sort of make sure that everything's protected as much as it can be. Next slide. So the threat landscape, as you can see by the slide, it's growing, it's changing massively. 50% of UK businesses experienced some form of cyber attack in 2024, and that number is expected to grow. I believe the last 10 major data breaches in the UK, half of those were due to human error. So it's not just having the systems in place, it's having the people who are aware of how to report incidents, how to look after incidents, and how to keep an eye and be vigilant against these kind of attacks. Cyber attacks, unfortunately, have evolved. We've now got AI-powered attacks. They're very believable. It used to be you'd get the dodgy email come through that you could tell was an issue because it was spelled incorrectly, it was formatted. They're getting smarter. They're using AI now to power attacks. They're using AI to write code which can bypass existing firewalls. It's a huge issue. So most cyber attacks don't start with technology, they start with people, fake login pages, fake QR codes. They're getting smarter, they're getting faster, and they're getting harder to detect. Even the best systems in the world can't protect you if your people aren't trained and aware of what issues are out there. These are the typical threats that we see. Home working, obviously, as I said, people are wherever they are with your information. They can be accessing your company data on their own devices, from places that you can't control, with people living there that you can't see. You don't know what's happening. It's very difficult to control these devices and know what's going on. So having the correct protection around that and training is vital. Phishing emails are one of the most common threats at the moment. It remains the most effective method for cyber criminals because for them it's easy, it's quick, and it works. It can also be catastrophic for businesses. All it takes is one click and it can shut you down. We've seen that recently within the larger companies in the media. It's happened to them. Stressed budgets. People think that because they haven't been hit, their cybersecurity is working. It's not the case. A stressed budget, cybersecurity does tend to fall down a list of priorities within a business, especially with this current financial climate. But it can matter massively. You really need to sort of invest in your systems to make sure they are as robust as they can be. And that's the same as legacy systems where they may be not renewed, not updated, not enhanced to make sure that they remain up to date and sufficient enough to control against any attacks. Insider attacks, whether malicious or inadvertent, they can all have an impact. Third-party risks, this is the one that's in the media at the moment. They believe that the recent Marks and Spencer's attack was down to a third-party contractor having his SIM card changed in an attack known as SIM swapping, where his SIM card was illegally changed, and then the MFA codes went to the new number, allowing access to the systems. So you could have the best systems in the world. If you can't control what your contractors and people are doing, again, it leaves you vulnerable to attacks like this. Cyber awareness, your people are the first point of defense against any issues. They can monitor, they can alert, they can let you know what they suspect to be malware, and they can deal with it rather than clicking on it. So having an awareness campaign across the organization and if proper training is key to responding and investigating these issues up front. The biggest issue I also see is complacency. People think, well, it's working, we've not been hit, it must be okay. It's not. Unfortunately, it's more of a case of when you get hit rather than if. It may be a small attack, it may be a large attack, but it'll happen at some point. Your business will be targeted. So being complacent can be a huge risk. So the importance of cybersecurity. Obviously, you want your systems to be as safe as they can. Financial implications can be vast. As you've seen with Marks and Spencer's at the moment, they're going to probably get fined. They've lost so much business and trade because of it. They've been unable to take orders, all based on one incident. With phishing emails or the malware, ransomware, the initial point is they try and extract money from you. Whether you pay or not is irrelevant. You've lost business, you've lost reputation, downtime, you may have lost data as a result of this. So even if you don't pay the ransomware, you're still incurring financial damage. based on the sort of time it takes you to respond, react, and reinstall your systems back to how they should be. So it's a big thing. You really do need to take it seriously, and unfortunately we do see companies that don't. It also reinforces customer trust. If companies can see that you're treating your data and their data securely, safely and responsibly, it enhances trust. They'll want to do business with you. Building resilience. The key thing is testing your defences. Having the defences in place is just the first part of it. So having the policies and the procedures up front, that's where we come in. Staff training and awareness, it's letting your staff know what is going on, what new threats are out there, how they respond to it. Testing your defences regularly, periodically refreshing your measurements, your continuity plans to make sure that they remain current and they remain active. So all of this, it's not a one-off, it's a continuous cycle over time, a multi-layered strategy to evolve and change as things change. As we've seen, the threat landscape changes so quickly, you need to change with it. So the fundamentals, training your workforce, that's your first line of defense, letting them know what threats look like, what to do and what not to do, and making sure that they know exactly their role within the company and giving them the knowledge and the tools needed to do their job safely. Having a zero trust cybersecurity, where you don't trust any user or any device until they're independently verified, reduces the risk of unauthorized access. Even having protocols in place when an employee leaves to remove their access promptly, that can also reduce the likelihood of data breaches. Knowing who's got access to your systems, where they're accessing your systems, and what protections are in place. Testing your systems, obviously checking that your backups are working, checking your malware is in place, checking patches are being installed correctly, and testing your workforce. You could have a phishing campaign where you test employees to see if they can respond and react to potential malware. The next stage is to publicly certify your business through a system like ISO in order for your customers and your clients to see that you have done all these measures and you're taking it seriously. So ISO, why ISO? There are a set of standards that were developed many years ago. There are a family of standards. There's 22,000 ISOs worldwide, I believe, for various things. ISO 27001 is the standardization for information security. It was originally launched in 1998 under BSI. It's gone through several iterations. The most recent version is released in 2022, and it was refreshed to include things like cloud computing, data leakage, new terminology that maybe wasn't mentioned or covered in depth in previous ones. ISO 27001 is based on three key principles: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So confidentiality is ensuring that your information is accessible only to those who need it. Integrity is safeguarding the accuracy and the completeness of information and its methods. And availability is making sure that the information is available as and when they need it. So the ISO system itself, if you've got other ISOs, you will see the familiarity. The first part of this is clauses 4 to 10, which are the management system controls. And they align very nicely with other standards such as 9001, 14001. The difference with the ISO 27001 is it has an Annex A, or the Statement of Applicability. So this is a list of 93 controls, security controls, grouped together by type. So you've got organizational controls, people controls, physical controls, and technological controls. It sounds a lot. Not all 93 controls are relevant to your business. Some of them are, some of them aren't. What we do when we do our consultancy, we work with you to do a risk assessment to work out which ones are relevant and which ones are not. We apply justification, and it means that the system is completely tailored to your needs and your business practices. So it also takes into account things that maybe aren't plugged into the electrical system. People, premises, they're not covered in many standards. Intangible assets, knowledge holders, proprietary information, business reputation, it takes it all into account. Any one of those could have a massive impact if it was compromised in some way. So it takes a look at the business as a whole and identifies the best practice controls to put in place to protect your information. I think a lot of people do think it's information devices, and it's not. Information is held in people, it's held in filing cabinets, it's held in phones. It covers all of that. It's information security, not information technology security. So it's quite broad, but it does give you a very good, solid framework to protect all your data that you may hold. Okay, next slide.
Sorry, I was trying to talk there, and was I still had myself mute. No, I think that's really important though, because I think everybody does just assume it's the people, isn't it, rather than the rather than the technology, sorry, rather than the people, and the combination of all of that. And I think, yeah, whenever you speak to people, they're like, oh, I hadn't really thought about it like that, until you go into, obviously, start looking at the ISO parts of it, and then you're like, it kind of opens up a whole new world there, doesn't it?
It really does.
I think that's, I think that's really important Okay, thank you, Linda. Some really amazing insight there into the importance of it. And again, we are seeing it. We obviously talk a lot about tendering with clients and things as well. And tendering, it's coming up more and more now, isn't it? It's becoming more of a standard practice. Would you say that was fair to say that?
It's a prerequisite for a lot of contracts and tenders before you're even allowed to bid for them.
Yeah, that's it. No, absolutely. That is the absolute key thing for sure. Okay, so another quick question for everyone on here. So, what would you know what to do in the event of a cyber attack? So it's either A, yes, I have a plan. B, I've got a kind of rough idea what I might do, or C, I don't have a clue. So please, again, be honest. No judgment, no assessment, no nothing here. Again, it's just to get an idea, because I do think it varies very much across different businesses, different industries, and lots of different variations there on what would you do. And again, interesting to know that. So I can see a number of you voting there. Maybe not everybody's like, oh, I'm not sure. But that's okay. Okay, brilliant. So, okay, 34.3% of you have a plan. Brilliant. 42.9% have a rough idea, maybe changing passwords, or what's the rough idea? I'm interested to know. So if you want to put any of that in the Q&A or the chat, then that's grand. And 22.9% not a clue. And that's really that's really key, because as we have seen, and as you will have seen, I think historically it was always, you thought it was large organizations and what damage could it really do and all the rest of it. But we've seen firsthand the damage that it can do to, I don't know about your local co-op, but there's not a lot of food been in my local co-op for a while. Marks and Spencer's, one of my friends said to me the other day, I've just paid by card in Marks and Spencer's. Is that safe? Should I even be shopping in Marks and Spencer's? So, it's the reputational damage as well that goes with all these things. I don't doubt we're going to see that, the actual figures and, how that has impacted those businesses. And it doesn't just need to be large organisations, it's across the board, small organisations right through. So that's interesting. So those of you that don't have a clue, I think really a focus on that and having it on your agenda is important right now. And those who've got a rough idea, that's a good starting point, but definitely you need to be looking more at that. So you would, because again, you don't have a lot of time. It's not something you can think, okay, I'll think about this for the next few days. You need to act really, really quickly. And I had a gentleman I was doing another cyber event just last week, and he said we had somebody who had got a phishing email, like you were talking about earlier on, Linda, got a phishing email and had clicked on it and, logged in technically to whatever that had been. And he said we very quickly acted on it, changed passwords, all the rest of it, and, sort of changed server and did various things. But he said literally within an hour, he said we were getting activity from, Asia, America, all over the world. So I think speed is the key thing as well. It happens very, very quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So Now then, back to you. What would you do if your business was hit by a cyber attack? Thanks.
Yeah. So part of the 27001 does discuss business continuity measures. We help you carry out what's called business impact analysis. We look at all aspects of your business and have a plan for each section, whether it's premises, whether it's people, whether it's company reputation, data loss. It's identifying where the vulnerabilities are in your business and coming up with a plan to address them. The first thing you do is obviously stay calm and assess the situation, work out what's happened, work out how wide it's spread, and disconnect affected systems, contain the attack. What you then do is activate your incident response plan, which again we help you create. And it's knowing who to communicate, what to do in the event, how to alert your customers, how to alert your employees, how to contain that damage to make sure it doesn't spread, how to sort of revoke passwords, revoke permissions, disconnect systems, that kind of thing. A large part of it is communication. If you've got employees working remotely and you've got an incident in the office, you need to let them know sharpish, to let them know, don't click on this, don't click on that. Yes, we're seeing unusual activity. We've got it. Otherwise, you're going to get employees carrying on merrily and possibly making it worse by not knowing what to do. Having roles within the business continuity plan as well is key. Having an individual role of what that person does, and having secondary roles. So if that person's out of the business, what can the next person do? So having resilience measures for all roles within the business and making sure that people understand what their roles are. Also having backups for their roles, because you just absolutely know that if something's going to go wrong, it's going to be on Christmas Eve or a bank holiday when nobody's available on their phone. That's when it's going to go down. So it's having those resilience measures and backups for those measures to make sure that you can contain the problem, address the problem, investigate it, and recover and restore systems as efficiently and seamlessly as possible while minimizing data loss. What we also do is encourage you to review the business continuity measures regularly. Keep reviewing them, keep refreshing them. If you change a system, add new staff, refresh it at that point to make sure that your business continuity plan, incident recovery plans are as up to date, detailed, and as accurate as they possibly can. So it's not just having a plan in place, it's about testing that plan, testing your measures, sort of having a sit down regularly with theoretical, hypothetical questions. What would we do in this instance? How would we deal with this? And making sure that everybody is seamless in what they need to do and how they need, what tools they need to be able to do it. So it's not panicking, it's calmly reacting and being ready for any sort of scenario that there may be. It's bespoke to every business as well. We take into account what you have and what your key priorities are about data recovery and what tools and systems you use, so it can be configured in many, many ways. So to become ISO 27001 certified, it's a 3-stage process with citation. Initially, you will spend time with one of the consultants, such as myself. We sit with you for over the span of a few days and we discuss your business, what you've currently got in place, what you could have refreshed, what plans you can make for the future and what you want to achieve. What we're doing is looking for gaps in your existing system. A lot of companies have more than they realize in place, but there's always room for improvement. So it's working with you to find out what areas need adjusting, need sort of addressing, what are key areas, what are less critical. We then create your report. It's called a gap analysis report, and that comes out to you within a few days. Some of the recommendations are urgent. They need to be addressed fairly quickly. Some of them are slightly lower risk, and we explain that to you during the consultancy. Once those recommendations have been made, we put forward for certification, and it's normally quite a straightforward process after that. We can normally certify within around 5 to 6 weeks, based on the way we certify. You've also got support then throughout the year to make sure that you can maintain the certification year on year, and help you build in these practices and these policies to actually become a strong, safe, secure company with knowledgeable employees. And yeah, just pop back to Flora.
Thank you, Linda. Fantastic. Okay, so what is Cyber Essentials then? So Cyber Essentials is a government-backed certificate that was introduced in 2014. I'm hoping that you're all familiar with it, or at least have heard of it, whether you've interacted with it or not. It was created for all organisations of any size and any sector. So the scheme is there to demonstrate that organisations have the appropriate security and defences in place against common cyber attacks and data breaches. So the idea behind this is basically evaluating a company's technology defences to determine the current vulnerabilities and risk level. So it is looking at the actual technology defences. So that's where it is a lot more basic and a bit different. Obviously, it's not looking at all that information, which is absolutely key in every business, as we know. As Linda's explained, the various types of information you've maybe not thought about as well, because we do probably tend to think about servers, laptops, technology and devices a lot more. So the idea behind Cyber Essentials was the government recognised, obviously, that it was becoming an issue, and they then created Cyber Essentials. So I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to know how many of you on here have Cyber Essentials. Just a yes or no there in the chat box would be good. Just to mention as well, a couple of people have put questions in. Below your main slides there, you can see the ask a question box. So please feel free to put anything at all in there, and we'll have a wee question and answer bit at the end. So don't hesitate as we're going through just to pop some in there. That's not a problem. Okay, so certification options then. So there are two options available. So Cyber Essentials and then Cyber Essentials Plus. Both can determine the security level of a company. So Cyber Essentials is obviously the basic certification option and is awarded following the completion of a self-assessment questionnaire. So it's self-evaluation within your internally within your organisation. Depending on the information provided in the self-assessment, the business will receive a pass or a fail, highlighting any detected vulnerabilities. Once a pass is awarded, the business will receive their certificate. Cyber Essentials Plus is an additional certificate following the achievement of your basic Cyber Essentials, and the Cyber Essentials Plus involves some on-site, internal and external vulnerability tests that are performed on your system to determine the risk levels. So that results in an in-depth evaluation providing methods of remediation. And once a pass is awarded, again, you'll receive certificates. So I don't know. There's a few in here. I've saying, yep, few people. Few yeses, lots of no's. Few people have said, I've looked at it. Okay, looking at it's a good starting point, but it is something that really needs to be on everybody's agenda right now. And a few people not sure as well. So please do look at it if you do nothing else after today. Look at what you've got in place, and look at engaging with us, talk about ISO, talk about Cyber Essentials Plus, all the rest of it. It really is something that has got to be in every business's agenda right now. An interesting scenario where Pat McFadden MP, Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster and Minister for Intergovernmental Relations, said in a report that one way of strengthening the UK's defences was by driving up the adoption of Cyber Essentials scheme. Stats show that those businesses who implement Cyber Essentials are 92% less likely to make a claim on their cyber insurance. Now, there is another question: do you have cyber insurance? Because again, if cyber insurance is something that you have, then if you look in the small print, there will absolutely be, certain things that you need to be compliant with and need to be doing to even think about making a claim. So again, something else that is a consideration for each employer. So certainly, please do have a look at it. There are benefits across many areas, and as you can see, Cyber Essentials is the kind of most basic starting point, is what I would say. It focuses on 5 key technical controls: so secure configuration, user access control, firewalls, internet gateways, malware protection, and patch management. And it's making sure that, you've got it, so it looks across those 5 key areas and looks at what you've got in place and covers that. Cyber Essentials, as I said earlier on the previous slide, is self-assessment. Cyber Essentials Plus is independently tested and verified. And it's like everything, I think, if we're honest, having that independent verification and testing tends to make things a wee bit more efficient, effective, robust. 27001 is much more holistic. So it covers, as Linda said, the people, the processes, the premises, the technologies, the suppliers, the physical assets, and as Linda mentioned, 93 detailed controls across multiple domains. And that's where we can help you look at that. And it's then tailored to what your business needs are, because every business is obviously very different. Obviously, 27001 requires that annual external audit to maintain that certification. And while you can build your 27001 system internally, you can't claim certification without an independent audit by a recognised body. Any ISO, it's an international standard. It's, the whole point of it is having that accreditation to demonstrate how high your standards absolutely are, and obviously, as we've said, 27001 tests information regardless of its format, whereas your Cyber Essential actually tests the system. It's not the people, not the premises, all these other things, which I think is one of the most key things. So there's many benefits there, as you can see, down each one. So ISO 27001, keeping confidential information secure, minimises the risk of security breaches, better legal compliance, provides clients with peace of mind, sharpen your edge and win more business, and enhance your organisation's reputation. And a lot of these things, providing clients with peace of mind, sharpen your edge and win more business, and enhance your organisation's reputation, they are difficult to buy. You can't buy reputation. You spend a long time building that up. So, to maintain that and to win business, we talked earlier about it as part of the tendering process nowadays, and more ISO is becoming a standard that is, that is essential in the tendering process. And if you don't have it in some cases, then, you just won't be part of that. You won't be invited to tender. You won't be part of the process. So it is definitely, becoming more and more, it's highlighted the importance of it. Obviously, Cyber Essentials, the benefits of that is it prevents 80% of common cyber attacks. It helps keep you compliant with GDPR, which obviously is a separate discussion to have as well. Gain an understanding of your risk level, because a lot of people, if I came in tomorrow and said, okay, what is your risk level? What, that might not be something you're clear on, or to know how to do that, how to, get an understanding of it and what you can then do about it. Showcase a commitment to data security, affordable security tool, and a benefit from insurance discounts. Because remember, all these things as well, the more you do to prevent and safeguard and all the rest of it, insurance companies like these things, so that can have the added benefit of reducing premiums or things like that as well, which, let's be honest, is always a bonus. Okay, so upcoming industry updates. So the EU's Artificial Intelligence, or the AI Act, as you maybe heard it called, is working through its final stages. So it's looking at risk-based transparency, fairness, and compliance with GDPR. Number 2 there is your Cyber Resilience Act and Information Security Directive, which came into effect at the end of 2024 there. The NCSC and ICO are collaborating on activities to improve the UK's cyber resilience following the rise in spear phishing attacks. And, I think when you were talking earlier about the phishing emails and things like that, I don't know how many I get in my inbox, but, there must be millions of those every single day. And they're becoming so professional looking, so good, that sometimes you do query it, I have to say. And I think, would you say AI is really making that even more difficult, Linda, than ever? Would you agree with that?
They're more believable, much more realistic. Previously, poor grammar, poor spelling would be an issue. That's all gone. So AI has got a massive, and obviously you've now got the deep fake thing where people can impersonate somebody speaking, like a video call.
Yeah.
People, used to say, if you can see the person, you could trust them. You can't even do that now. It's apparently 3 billion phishing emails are sent globally each day. 1 in every 99 emails is a phishing attempt.
Wow, that's crazy. And you think we all, live a big part of our lives on emails and responding, and we've all done it. You open something and you're maybe in a rush and you're trying to respond, and absolutely we've all been there, or clicked on something and panicked. And again, it's back to that whole training, isn't it, for the team, and just having a real awareness of it all the time, being really switched on to it, I think, is the key thing. Number 4 there as well is the recommendations include transferring responsibility from the Home Office to the Cabinet Office, bringing forward legislation to reform Computer Misuse Act of 1990 and investing more resources into disrupting ransomware operations. So it has been recognised. They're absolutely working on that. But unfortunately, the key thing is that, hackers are always one step ahead, at least one step ahead, maybe 5 steps ahead. It's developing and changing daily. And I was just on something yesterday and they were talking about these new supercomputers and all the rest of it. And you just, when you hear some of that, it is quite scary as to, where we could end up with this. So you need to keep abreast of it. You need to be up to date as to what's changing, what's incoming, particularly, there might be different things in your individual industries. But again, you've just got to be aware of that and keep abreast of it is what I would say. And try your best to stay one step ahead. Prevention is key here. Once you've had an attack, then you are trying to limit the damage as opposed to anything else. And that could, in most cases, I would say, is too late, to be honest. So just trying to prevent things in the first place, make it difficult. Hackers are trying to hack thousands of people every day. If yours looks like it's too difficult and it's not happening, they'll move on to somebody else, which is the sad reality. So having the right things in place to avoid that and preventing it happening is the absolute key thing. Linda, I'll just hand back to you for this one.
Yeah, I think any cybersecurity measures you have to be about the people. It's about changing the culture, as Flora said. Encourage that awareness of suspicion. I'm not expecting this email. They don't normally email me. This isn't the way they'd normally write. Encourage people to question and query, is this legitimate? Is it not? All it takes is one click and all your cybersecurity measures can be undone. So people really are your first line of defence. As I said, thinking about where else you hold data and information. We've certified companies that don't even have laptops. Information's all held on paper. That's fine. We've done it. It's a different way of thinking, but it can happen. So it's knowing what data you hold, where you hold it, who's got access to it, who should have access to it. And realistically, what would your business do if somebody compromised that data? If you look at the fines through GDPR or through other legislations, they're massive. It could be make or break for the business. Also, even if you can afford the fine, which is not the way to think, your reputation. If you've got a poor reputation of data security, you see it on the news now, Marks and Spencer's, Co-op, Harrods has been attacked. The big names are getting attacked. They've got the brand reputation to ride this out. Smaller companies don't have that, and it really can make or break you. So it's about mitigating security threats. As Flora said, defence is the best line. Prevention is better than cure. Working out what you've got, where the risks are, and plugging those gaps as best you can. I think there was a question earlier about whether Cyber Essentials Plus will take over from ISO. No, they work alongside each other because they look at different things. It depends very much on your business, which is the best fit for you, but that's what we do. We come in and go through things and make sure you've got the best solution for your business. So they very much work alongside each other rather than replace each other. They just look at different things. Again, if you've already got an ISO with us, it's a much more straightforward process to onboard at 27001 because you're familiar with the management system structure, internal audits, management review. But even if you're not, and this is your first exposure to ISO, that's where we come in. We can help you, we can train you, we can explain it to you, teach you, and help you start thinking in a security conscious way, which is the first thing. I think the first attack is taking it seriously and understanding that it is out there and it is a risk, and it's a big risk, and it's going to happen at some point to you or your business. Thinking that is the first step to being cyber secure.
Absolutely, and I think that's it. It's just one of these you can't afford not to be thinking about nowadays, isn't it? You know, it blows my mind. We have ethical hackers in house, obviously, because we need to stay one step ahead. And I'm always, questioning them, and what about this? And do you do this? And all that kind of thing. Because absolutely, you've got to make sure that you're secure. And GDPR, and just like you say, your reputation, can be ruined so easily just by something going wrong, or one of your employees clicking. That's what it always is, isn't it? It's one click too far.
Yeah. Also, we talk about the impact it has on you as a business. It's the impact it could have on your customers. We've all seen the NHS get hacked, and it had a massive impact on appointment booking. We've seen Marks and Spencer's get hacked. It had a massive impact on their order fulfillment. If you've got a care company and you use IT to schedule and manage appointments and medication visits, and that gets hacked, it could put people's lives at risk. If people don't get their medication because your visits are messed up, it can have a real impact on people's lives. So it's not just the business impact, it's the impact it could have on your clients that are reliant on you to provide a certain service. So it's across the board. The impact is across the board.
Yeah, no. And it is, I think, being realistic about it and thinking, okay, if this happened or this happened tomorrow, what would I do, and what have I got in place, and have I got anything in place right now? And I think you need to be really realistic about that as a business owner, and getting those expert eyes on it, I think, is really helpful to identify it as well, because you can't always identify it yourself. I'm a small business owner myself, and you're in the business on a day-to-day basis. You're not always on the business, as we talk about. So getting that expertise, and somebody else questions, saying, well, what about that? And you go, oh yeah, I never thought about that, and I didn't think about that. And absolutely, so they can identify all other vulnerabilities that you maybe hadn't identified yourself. And I think that's the key thing. When somebody's looking at it day in, day out, they can identify areas and have seen, I'm sure you will have seen various areas, Linda, that, companies and organisations are exposed that they probably didn't pick up on themselves.
I think business owners often get tunnel vision. They deal with the problem that's in front of them on that day. And things like this, because it hasn't happened yet, or it must be okay, we'll deal with it tomorrow, we'll deal with it next week, that's in the next budget, until it happens. And then obviously,
unfortunately, sorry, on you go.
No, obviously when it happens, then it's too late. So it's about identifying weaknesses, patching those weaknesses, but also having a plan in place should something get through those defences. So it's a sort of multi-pronged approach.
It's true. And as business owners, I think a lot of time we spend our life firefighting. Unfortunately, that is the reality of what happens in a business on a day-to-day basis. So it is, and that's why it's important to, put these things in place and have this focus to drive that through and have those protections in place. We wouldn't have a business without insurance. So why are we leaving ourselves exposed and open in other areas? And when you think about it like that, it does seem crazy, but it does happen, as we can see. Okay, I hope that's helped a bit then, guys. Just another question for you. So how confident do you feel now in your security measures and your understanding of ISO 27001? Again, I'd just like you to either click on A, B or C. Now, I know this is a sort of double-edged question here, because you may have lost confidence in where you thought, yeah, I've got this kind of sorted. You might be thinking, oh, I'm not sure I have now. Or you may be thinking, actually, yeah, I have got the right things in place or whatever. So answer again honestly. I'm just interested to know where you're at, and what you're thinking as well, because it can shift after looking into it. And Linda obviously gave us an in-depth look at it there, and comparing the two as well. So if you don't have anything in place, I appreciate then your confidence may well have fallen. So, okay, let's have a quick look. We've got most of you. Okay, right, great. We've got nobody in the not confident at all camp, so that's a good achievement. 70% in the somewhat confident, and 30% in very confident. So that's great. That's brilliant. And what in an ideal world, what we'd like to do is move that 70% into more of the confident, more in the confident camp. So appreciate you. You know, we've created a lot of thoughts today, questions, all the rest of it. And I'm going to just go to some questions shortly because I can see some questions have come in there. But what I just want to explain to you is where we can help you. And again, this is about getting it right for your organisation. And as Linda explained, we go through it with you to identify where the needs are, the vulnerabilities, what you've got in place, what you need to have, and tailor that down to what your needs are. Because I know it can seem quite overwhelming, where to start and where to go with this. And we get you to that point, get you accredited, and then we help you to maintain that as well. Because the maintaining it can just be as tricky as getting it in the first place. So we have that consultancy built in. So we've in-house expertise like Linda, who are absolutely fantastic and, take you through what needs to be done, creating that management system that works for you. It's about saving you time and money, which I know nobody on here will say that they don't want to do that. It's about simplifying it as well and making it as straightforward as we can and gaining certification as quickly as possible. It can, in some circumstances, not all, be in as little as 45 days, depending on, where your starting point is probably the best way for that. It's part of something bigger. So you do also get exclusive access to Citations HR and Employment Law Expert Advice Line, which in itself is incredibly valuable. So, if you've got any concerns, queries, issues, scenarios going on, then you've got the expertise on hand as and when you need it. We can connect you with SSIP experts and SMAS WorkSafe. And it's working within an organisation where you have, a variety of solutions there. So, for example, our health and safety solutions and things that give you peace of mind as well. And we've obviously touched a lot on technology. The technology is there as well to back that all up, of which you have 24/7 access to the bespoke management system, which is Atlas, which is a brilliant system. I'm sure there's some users on here today. It's there so you can easily achieve and maintain your ISO compliance. There is a host of templates, various reporting, all different things there at your fingertips as and when you need them. So the support is there, guys. It's not a case of, well, you need to go off and do this and we'll leave you to it. It's very much about taking you step by step through things and supporting you to get to the point you need to be at. Okay, I'm going to just see question-wise what we've got there now. So we've got a few here. Somebody asking, Linda, will 27001 take over from Cyber Essentials Plus, which we have in place currently, or will it work in conjunction with?
It would work in conjunction with. They do very different things, and it's what's best for your business and what kind of information and systems you've got. Most of the companies we see have one already and they're onboarding the other. So they see the benefits in having both of them because they work differently. They're looking at different things. Obviously, it all depends on your business. But yeah, it wouldn't overtake it. It would work alongside it.
Yeah, brilliant. Somebody asking that similar, would you recommend Cyber Essentials Plus if you already have ISO 27001? So
again, without knowing your business, yes, they can work very nicely in conjunction with each other. It depends on what you're doing. Obviously, the Cyber Essentials Plus actually independently validates your system, so it can look for actual technological weaknesses. But yeah, no, it depends fully on the company. But yes, we would see companies with both. They complement each other really well, the two accreditations.
Yeah. Somebody's saying there as well, they work with an IT company, and would that be a plan for dealing with a cyber attack?
It would be the start of a plan. The IT company wouldn't maybe have information about your employees, where they're working from. So it's a good place to start having independent IT support if you've identified that that's a risk. But knowing how far they can go and what measures they can put in place, again, we'd build upon that, I think. It wouldn't be the only solution. IT company is great for the back end things, but it doesn't actually change or teach employee behaviour, employee culture within the workplace. So it would be that stage as well that we'd look at.
Yeah, and that's key, isn't it? Because like you said earlier, it's one click. One person, one click, and that can go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Thank you, Linda. Somebody here asking, how can we make a proactive measure on cybersecurity area internally in our company with employees? We have a workforce of about 15 to 30 of an employee base.
Again, it's really hard to give an answer because it depends on what your industry does, what information you're holding, who your customers are. That is a typical size of company that we work with. Having said that, I've worked with sole traders of one person all the way up to several thousand. The beauty of 27 and the Cyber Essentials, it can be scaled, it can be adapted, it can be configured to exactly what you need in your business. So again, without knowing too much about your business with what you do, I wouldn't be able to sort of recommend any measures, but absolutely get in touch and we can have a chat and see what solutions we can come up with.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that, Devesh. I think the key thing there is to absolutely have that discussion, and we'll happily pick it up with you. And if MD does want to have a one-to-one at all, don't hesitate. Just pop that in there, guys, and just let me know that you want to have a one-to-one. You want somebody to give you, put a bit of time in a diary with you. Just let me know when it works for you, in fact, is the best thing. So if you're telling me it's tomorrow or Monday or whenever, then we are more than happy to make sure that happens for you, no problem, because it's important to and I can see a couple of people have already requested that you want a wee callback, so that's fine. I can happily arrange that for you. Just make sure that if you want to pop your email address in, if you just send it on the question area there just below the screen, that'll come directly to me, and I'll make sure we pick that up for you, and make sure we speak to you. You will be followed up after today's event, guys, as well, and if you want a copy of the recording, just let whoever is speaking to you after today's event, let them know, and once it's been converted and cleaned up, then we can get that out to you as well. So if MD wants that to go back over or wherever, because I know it's a lot of information, then we're more than happy to arrange that for you. So somebody asking there as well, Linda, how many days does an audit take on average? That's kind of how long is a piece of string, is it?
Pretty much. Again, it depends fully on the business, what business units are included. The minimum 1 day, my maximum, my longest audit has spanned 12 days. It depends entirely on the business, which units we're auditing, what the scope of the certification covers. There really is no average. There's no average business. There's no average audit time. It really does change. But yeah, it can be anywhere between 1 day and my maximum's 12. I believe. I think my colleague has done a 15-day. It grows according to the business.
Brilliant. Thank you. A few of you asking there for more information on Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus, so we'll make sure that we get that. We'll engage with you, and again, it's to get a better understanding of what your needs are. That is what we absolutely we need to do. So please don't hesitate just to pop that in there if you want to have a wee chat with us. And if there's a specific time in the date that works best for you, then just let me know in the question and answer bit there as well, and we'll make sure we pick that up. Not a problem at all, guys. Okay. Now, if you do as well, I should say, if you do want further information on, we've obviously just talked about 27001 predominantly today. If you want information on any other ISOs, then we are more than that. We can again pick that up with you, because obviously, all of these, depending on the business, and again, Linda touched on them earlier on. And one most definitely helps the other. Then, let us know and just click on that. And again, we will follow up with you. No problems whatsoever.
I can see Sarah's asked about, they've already got 9, 14 and 45. What we do in those cases is we don't start from scratch. We build on what you already have. We enhance your current system to onboard it. So there's a lot of alignment with all the processes. So we absolutely use what's already in place. So it's a really straightforward process for that, to build the management system around what you already have.
So that a lot of the work is done.
Yes, it really is. Yeah.
Brilliant. Great. Okay. That sounds like a great plan. Great. Okay, and yeah, we'll pick up with you, Sarah Jane, as well. No problem at all. Okay, so I think have we managed to cover all the questions? Anything else come directly to you, Linda, or anything else you want to add on?
No, I think that was it. Hopefully it's helped people to sort of ask, if they don't have all the answers, but ask better questions or know which questions to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Naveed, I can see there as well. We probably want to speak to you directly. So if you just want to make sure you've put in your email address or a contact telephone number into the question area, and we'll pick that up directly with you. No problem at all. More than happy to help you with that. That's grand. Okay, great. I think we've covered a lot of it. So thank you very much to everybody that's joined us on today's webinar. I hope it has been valuable time out the business. I hope it's been helpful. I know it will created some to-do lists, actions, etc. But that's why we're here. We're more than happy to help you, more than happy to have a discussion with you about anything at all, ISO or anything else related, to be fair. So, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. As I said, somebody will call you in the follow-up. So if there is anything further you want, just let them know you've been in the webinar and they can put you in touch with if they're not the right person, then who you need to be speaking to directly. But more than happy to pick that up. And thank you very much to you, Linda, for joining us and for all your expertise and help. It's much appreciated as well.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, I'll leave that open for a second or two. If there's any other information that anybody wants, you can still click on that, and then I will bring it to an end. But thank you very much, everyone, and we'll be in touch with all of you that have requested a follow-up. And brilliant, I can see your details just jumped in there, Naveed, and that's brilliant. And we'll get in touch with you. Great. Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good day. Thanks, Linda. Bye-bye.